Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of SEO Maz's Whiteboard Friday. This week I wanted to talk about content categorization, which is almost like a subset of information architecture and how incredibly valuable that can be for SEO purposes, particularly if you have a large site or a site with a lot of content on it. These can be things like blogs, they could be enterprise sites, they could be news sites, they might be sites where you're buying content or where your users are creating content. All of those places, this subject, very, very important. And what I'd like to do is start with some of the goals that you need to accomplish, that you're trying to accomplish when you do content categorization. And so I'll just erase this and show you some of the goals. All right, so here's some of the big things that you need to think about when you're creating a content categorization system. First off, fewer clicks to the content. Basically, you want Google to only have to travel maybe 2, maybe 3 clicks before reaching that detail page, right? From the home page to the detail page, the shortest distance is the best route. Secondarily, you want descriptive, valuable category pages. Whatever this category page is over here, it should have a title and a meta description that is compelling, that really describes the content inside of it. And so it needs to be detailed enough, yet broad enough to fit whatever you're going to put in there. Number 3, the flow of link juice through to the detailed content, right? So just because you have fewer clicks to the content doesn't always mean that you're flowing link juice in the best ways. And it might mean that some content is getting a lot more link juice than others. Now maybe you want it that way, or maybe you don't. You just need to be careful about how you sculpt it, because this is one of the very biggest things and biggest improvements that you can make, especially if you're an enterprise level site, in getting more traffic and more page views. All right, and finally, this is not even from a search engine perspective, but usable, easy to understand architecture, right? We've got our little guy, and we want him to see the information architecture and the structure and go, oh, I got it. It makes sense. It's easy. Big smiley, right? If he doesn't understand, people are going to get confused when they come to your site. They're not going to reach that deep level content. It's going to be a big problem. All right, so let's walk through that. Some examples of different content categorizations and hierarchies. Oh, crap. I erased that board. Oh, if only there was some way I could go back in time and get it. Wow, it's magic! Amazing. So let's walk through some of the best content categorization systems and worst content categorization systems that are kind of popular on the web, and look at their positives and negatives. So naturally, we'll start with the worst. The paginator. So the paginator is, right, here's Googlebot. I'm going to illustrate him with my blue pen today. Sorry, I'm not actually drawing the whole of Googlebot, but so Googlebot comes to the home page, right? And then he gets down here to some content, some category level pages. And then the paginator does this horrifying thing where it forces Googlebot to go next, 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 next. Oh, there we go. And now I can see, you know, and on each of these pages are content detail pages. But guess what? Googlebot, instead of getting a clean, quick path to some of that detailed content from long, long ago that's been archived in the past, they have to crawl through tens or even hundreds, potentially, of clicks in order to reach these detail pages. Royal pain in the butt. You don't want it. Let's look at another option. This one's getting really popular in kind of the Web 2.0 world. It's called the tag cloud. I'm sure you've all heard of tag clouds. All right, so here's Googlebot once again. Right, and Googlebot comes to the home page and then gets to a tag cloud page, or maybe the tag cloud page is on the home page. Regardless, once you reach the tag cloud page, Googlebot can see all of these different tag pages, right? Here's a tag for technology, here's a tag for art, here's a tag for literature, here's a tag for popcorn. Goody goo. So I go to the tag for popcorn, and now I can see all of the detail pages in here. Now, you can encounter pagination problems with this too, but I'm not going to worry about those since we just covered them. Instead, what the problem with tags is that less popular tags and content that fits into those less popular tags often gets less link juice, doesn't get reached as quickly, has a lot of issues with its visibility. And in addition to that problem, if you're not the one tagging your content, if you, the editor, are not doing the tagging, if your users are doing the tagging, be in for some surprises, because users tag things in very awkward, bizarre ways and don't always do it accurately. Delicious is one of the better systems because it's incredibly popular, but unless you're literally of that size, you're going to run into some issues when it comes to tagging. So let's look at a better option. I am going to call this one the OCD archivist. And okay, I know, maybe I'm making fun of psychological disorders, and that's bad. But the thing about being very obsessive with your, with your content is that you get great benefits out of it, right? So here's Google, and Google travels to the home page, and the home page links to a bunch of category level pages, and the category pages link to a bunch of subcategory pages from which you can access all or nearly all of the detail pages. You don't have nearly the pagination problem that you had before because things are organized into subcategories. And if you want, you could even say, hey, you know what? This detail page, for some reason, is very, very important. I'm going to link to it directly from the category page. So you get that kind of option to say more important content. I want it to be more visible more quickly. Then, if you need to, if you're a huge site, you can even do secondary subcategories, right? So Google goes content, subcontent, secondary subcategory, and now all the way down to detail. And that works fine too, because you're still only talking about 3 or maybe 4 clicks to get to any particular piece of content. And that is very, very exciting. This is the system that I would probably most highly recommend from a general perspective. However, I do want to say that content categorization is a very, very broad discipline, and you really do need to think about your site's specific needs before you go down this path. All right, everyone, thank you very much for joining us again this week, and we hope to catch you next week for another edition of Whiteboard Friday.